So let's welcome Debbie Peterson to the stage.
You're so welcome. How would you like to go from frustrated to focused in your career? But even beyond that, go to a place where you're fulfilled. Wouldn't that be cool? So here's where I want you to start. I want you to rate yourself, actually. I'm going to ask you to think of a number between 1 and 10. 1 is you are totally unsatisfied, unfulfilled, your job is painful. 10 is you are totally satisfied and fulfilled in your job. It's utopia every single day. Now you're probably somewhere in between, but pay attention to that number that pops into your head. And here is why it's important. Because when you're at the lower end of that spectrum, it makes it more difficult for you to show up the way that you need to in your career. It's like it takes every bit of mental and physical energy that you have to do so. Have you had days like that? Yeah, just to show up. It's hard. It's difficult. So let's start making it a little bit easier. The one thing you need to know is it's not just what you do, but how you think about it too. It was April 2003, and on that spectrum that I gave you, I was a -1. I was so stuck, frustrated, miserable, just unhappy in my career. And no matter what I did to try to figure it out, I couldn't. It was like it eluded me, and all I got was stressed. I got so stressed that I was having heart palpitations. You know, my heart would thud in my chest and then skitter around in my throat. I couldn't feel my fingertips. My left hand would go numb. And at night, I would be up for hours and my mind would just race. And that is when I hit the wall. Now, my doctor said it's not your heart, which was a relief because I had heart disease in my family. But he said, you are producing a great amount of stress and it's negatively impacting your body. We need to figure this out. So by the age of 40, I am on high blood pressure medicine. I am on migraine medicine for just these killer headaches. And I'm on anti-anxiety medicine. So now I am officially one mad, miserable, and medicated woman. Pity my husband. But that is the exact time that I started to figure out how my thoughts were holding me back. And I started to go to workshops, I started to go to seminars, I did research, I read scores of books and started to piece together a way forward for me. I started to get clarity. And the coolest thing that I discovered at that time is the best tool that you have to achieve anything that you want in your career or in your life is this 6 inches that you have between your own 2 ears, your mind. So think about it. As you're sitting here in your chair, your mind is running your body. Your heart is beating. You're breathing, right? Your eyes are blinking and you don't have to tell your body to do so. It happens automatically, right? So these automatic thoughts can become instruction to our mind. So our mind will work like a dog to bring us exactly what we need to be successful. But we have to tell it what to do. So Penn spoke about this just a little bit ago. The way you give your mind instructions, it is the words that you speak and the thoughts that you think. And let me give you an example of how that happens. So you are watching TV, you pry the remote out of your husband's hands and you're flicking through the channels. And you come across that car commercial. And you look at that car and you think, ooh, that's a neat car. That is a really sharp car. And it's even my favorite color, red. But then you start thinking about the car and how good you would look in that car. And you start getting excited about it. But then the commercial ends. You forget about the car. But a few days later, you are coming out of work and there is that red car in the corner of the parking lot. You're driving home and all of a sudden you see it in the bank teller line. You're pulling in your driveway, it's your neighbor's house 2 doors down. It's like that car is everywhere. And it is because you put it there. When you saw that commercial, when you paid attention to that commercial, when you had feelings about that car in the commercial, You gave instruction to your mind. This is what I want to find. So it is, like Penn said, it's called your reticular activating system. So imagine, with that ability to focus, what you can create for yourself in your career. How powerful would that be when you are in control of what you hold in your head instead of the other way around? But this mental clarity that we have access to, there are obstacles. And the biggest obstacle is us. We get in our own way with the way that we think. And one of the biggest ways that we sabotage our success is with our own limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs. And the funny thing is, they start out as a decision that you make as a result of a negative event. So you do something and it turns out really wrong, goes bad, and you say, oh no, I can't do that, that's not for me. And that decision becomes instruction to your mind. This is what I want to find. And so it gets replicated, and each time it does, it becomes so ingrained that it becomes a full, unconscious belief about yourself that holds you back. So limiting beliefs are obstacles that we create. So let me give you an example. You have a job interview. You were so excited about this job interview. This was the job that you wanted, but you get up that morning and you head into the job interview feeling a little nervous, feeling a little anxious. All of a sudden, to your own ears, it's like somebody else has showed up. You sound like an idiot. You can't answer the questions, even though you know the questions. Interview goes horribly. You don't get the job. I'm really sorry. But on that day, you made a decision. You just happened to be a teenager, and that was an interview for a movie theater. But throughout your career, that decision followed you. And every interview that you had got really nervous, didn't go well, didn't come out right, and it held you back in your career. Limiting decisions and limiting beliefs run automatically. I'm not good enough. I'm not talented enough. I can't do this. I can never be a manager, ask for a raise, whatever. They are the lies that you tell yourself. And as long as you allow them to continue, you allow them to define you. But if you want to get out from under this limited thinking, you want to do 3 things. So there's stickers on your table. And that's what I want you to do. Catch it, challenge it, and change it. When you catch yourself thinking in a limited manner, when you know there's an opportunity and you're shying away from it, that's a win. Because nothing can change unless you're first aware of what needs to be changed. Next, you want to challenge it. Give this limiting belief a hard time. How do you know it's true? How do you know it's factual? Interrogate this limiting belief. Like your mother, when she knew that you were up to something. You know when she used your first name and your middle name? Yeah, like that. And then finally, you want to change it. Change it to something that will allow you to keep moving forward. So instead of, I'm bad at interviewing, have it be, I'm working on being better at interviewing. It keeps you moving in the direction that you need to go. It has been a long time since 2003. But when I figured out how to harness the power of my thinking, my world changed. I no longer live in a world that requires medication. I no longer focus on everything as my responsibility. I focus on the right things for the right reasons. I learned how to step up for me. And that's what I want you to be able to do, to learn to step up, speak up, and show up for you. Because you have an opportunity to create value for yourself, to create value for your company, to create value for your industry. Because guess what? Your industry needs you. But just remember, it's not just what you do, but how you think about it too. I'm Debbie Peterson, and I help professionals accelerate their mindset and their results. Thank you.